In my previous video, I issued my sincere condolences to the British subscribers who lost their queen 2 days ago. And I pointed out how overwhelmingly the messages were positive, but there were a couple of blue check marks on Twitter, and even the New York Times had a very peculiar article where they issued less than civilized takes to the point where Jeff Bezos, who usually doesn't comment on politics on his Twitter timeline, was shocked and appalled by the way some of these blue check marks behaved in public. And I thought we're going to leave it at that. I thought that's the end of the video. Because I'm not going to just go to every random person on social media and go like, look what this guy said. Look at it. No, this is not what the channel is about. But I did find a big fish. Someone that is of relevance, another blue check mark, who realized the problem. You see, there were many left-leaning people on Twitter who were, again, issuing offensive statements after the Queen passed away. And there's a problem with that. It's not only that it can get you fired in the UK, but it can also get you in trouble with the law. Because in Britain, if you issue offensive posts online, that's a crime. Like, you can actually get a cop knocking at your door. Now, normally, we kind of know how that goes. It's usually a one-way street. It's if you're offensive against the culture. Like, if you say things that are offensive but permissible, then it's fine. But if you say things that are offensive against minorities or whatever, then it's not fine, right? Like, it's kind of like a selective enforcement, from my personal opinion, seeing what's happening online. However, in the case of the Queen, the police can't decide not to prosecute because it's an official government day of mourning. And on top of that, the Queen was beloved both by left-leaning and right-leaning people in the UK. So, people who issue disparaging things about the Queen may get into trouble. And Owen Jones, which is a left-leaning activist, issued a letter of concern on Twitter saying that the Daily Mail are going to scour the timeline of everyone and anyone they can construe as left-wing for content they can outrage their readers. If you are on the receiving end of this, you cannot imagine what will hit you. You will be crucified. You could lose your job. Be plastered across the internet forever. And you could be subjected to very extreme threats of violence and death. And there are people in this country who may try and act on those. Don't make yourself Daily Mail fodder. You know, it took me a while to imagine such a culture where you can say things online and people would dig up your tweets in order to a mob to harass you. Can you imagine such a culture? Now, I think that the United Kingdom is above that. I think that the United Kingdom is a free society that fosters freedom of expression, and they would never, would they, Owen Jones? Would they? I mean, no, clearly the British people would never. Now, what's interesting is that I actually looked at the Daily Mail, and all I could find were them selecting people, issuing their condolences, and talking about the Queen in a very respectable manner. The Daily Mail did not clickbait, did not go to leftist activists to see if they said anything negative about the Queen 9 years ago. Which makes me wonder, why would Owen Jones think about something like... Where did he even get that idea? Like, who in his circle would behave in such a way that would get him concerned? Like, how did he even imagine such a thing? Because do you guys know? And by the way, it goes without saying, right? Like, do not contact Owen Jones. This is not about him. It's just that it's just such a bizarre culture where people would go 9 years through your social media history to try to dig up offensive stuff in order to get you fired. Like, I can't imagine such a thing. Like, it shakes me to the core. I am so glad we do not live in such a society. So do not contact him, but like, tell me, where do you think he got such an idea? Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.